Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit, two model kits in fact, because we're finishing up the Shin Matsugana's Zaku 2 high grade, because all we have left to do is complete some weapons, and then we're going to start a new kit, the Seltsam, which is a high grade based on the Mach 3 mobile suit. It is a part of Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise or whatever. It's another show. So we're going to build that, and it's going to be great. I'm going to throw the barricade leg of the scythe emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can do that. Harold already did that. Hi, Harold. Welcome, welcome. Let the people know you're here. See the emotes. If you aren't a subscriber, you can just say hi. Epic Open World's here saying hello to chat. Well, I'll say hello on behalf of chat. We're going to, as always, hang out a little bit here. Lashbrook is here. Hi, Lashbrook. Wait for a few more folks to join us. I'm hoping a few more people decide tonight's the night to watch the stream. Maybe they haven't been here in a bit. You know, shout-outs to Asmo and Ultron and folks that we haven't seen in a little bit. I hope you're doing good. Humbao. Aristophan is here. Hi, Aristophan. I'm just thinking Zorbs. I'm just thinking of people that, Lord, Lord Stockton we just saw this week, but people that, were regulars that, aren't here every time. Mr. Bob, our favorites. You're all my favorites, but there are a few folks that have been here thick and thin, and then we think of folks that only watch the VODs or the YouTube videos. Shout outs to you, fine folks that don't come by. And then, of course, a preemptive shout out. I'll see you in about an hour, people that really want to just talk about anime and just don't have enough people that stream and talk about anime, that they don't really care about the model kits, so they come in the second hour for the modern anime, current anime talk. I see you. I get you. But yeah, I'm excited about tonight. Finishing up one kit, starting a new one. Oh, this new kit is asymmetrical, and that is my favorite thing. One of my favorite things is an asymmetrical model kit. Oh, hey, what's up, Beats? Welcome, welcome. We'll get into it, particularly why I like that. Obviously, sometimes there's a shield, right? Like, this kit is not asymmetrical. Yes, does it have a different shoulder than that? Yeah, but the arms are the same. We build the legs the same. They're just, obviously inverted. This is the same with, minor, differences, here and there, like I said, shields or shoulder things, but it's basically the same kit, and that's fine. But sometimes mobile suits are not designed that way. They're designed with like a weird arm or a big leg or 3 legs, and you're like, cool, 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 cool. But yeah, obviously it often denotes this is a villainous kit. It's a kit for villains, for jerks. And bad people, which is great. All for it. All right. In a minute or two, I'm going to go give the old retweet here. Yeah, so we're going to retweet the Let's Do This. Let the people know they can come on board. Also, the Seltsam, which we're going to work on here, it has a big lance. I like a big lance as a weapon. I like the knight stuff that shows up in here. It also has 5 eyeballs. I mean, not real eyeballs. It has 5 eyes, one of which is in its crown, and that doesn't make antenna. That doesn't make any sense. Kit for jerks, so a kit for most of the internet. Epic Open World, you're not wrong. I will also say the Seltsam, its crown is also one of the reasons it has an eye is because it's a mask, just like the guy who pilots it, who's a masked figure, because that's creepier. Also, obviously, Gundam history. You know your Gundam history. If you wear a mask, you are a villain who we've already met before. But you're behind it. You got a mask now. That's fine. Hey, Lord Crashington, welcome, welcome. All right, so let's go to the overhead here. We're finishing up our Zaku 2. You can see we are body complete here. We got our backpack. We've got all our weapons, arms and legs, and all that. I clipped out some pieces here just to, get assembly going. Also, I like to warm up my hands by doing that. So we'll do that. I saw a build streamer do something that was kind of interesting. So we'll start by talking about that. If you wear a mask, you are a Gundam telling folks fucking wear a mask for the love of God. Yes. Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, in this world, wearing a mask makes you a hero. But in the world of Gundam, wearing a mask generally means that you are a baddie, and you were already a baddie, and now you're just a different hidden baddie. I want to talk about this, and let me know, because y'all obviously, you're here this early. Generally speaking, your folks that have been here for a bit know what's going on, have thoughts, and I appreciate your thoughts and opinions on things. I gotta know. I saw a streamer, model kit builder, seemed like fine enough, doing the work, doing their thing. They set up their webcam that faces them on an angle up. So when they lean over to look at stuff, they were still in, like, so basically it would be like this. So when I'm doing this, you could see my face. And I was like, I kind of like that. But then it doesn't help when you look at chat or when you're looking, when you're looking up. When I look over here to look at chat, that's when you can kind of see what's going on with me. And I was like, I kind of like that, but I don't think I like that. I also don't know how I would replicate that. Where I guess the clamp I have here, I could put lower an angle. I guess I could, where I put my webcam. Because obviously, some people have arms for their webcams. I have one for my overhead. And for the one facing me, often people just put those webcams like with a clamp on a monitor. Well, I have two monitors, so I put it in the center of the monitors. So I don't know. Have you ever, let me know if you've ever seen anything like that, a webcam that's shot from up. It kind of makes sense in the capacity of what I'm doing, but I don't know if I liked it. I don't think I did. I don't know. So if you're looking straight forward, does it seem like, yeah, it would probably be an up the nose cam, Lashbrook. Now this person that was streaming wasn't looking at chat. So they solved the problem. They had an iPad next to their booklet, so they were still looking down. So they basically did the whole stream like this, just the entire time, and they would read chat as it went and scrolled, and then they would work on their kit. So they never looked up to a camera because their camera was facing them. I think I need to be higher up or pull back a lot. Maybe like you need like a widescreen lens. I don't think it would work. But I'm interested to experiment with it. Like I said, I don't think it's a good idea, but it is an idea. I don't know. So yeah, they would look at the camera like that, and then we'll look at this and like that, and then like that, and I'm like, I don't know. It was kind of interesting. I think that would work if you did not intend to send the videos to YouTube. It would be a weird format for YouTube. Yeah, Epic Own World. That's a good point. I do see what you're saying there. Yeah, that might be an odd format for that. If I wasn't exporting. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting yawned here. Apologies. All right. So you might want this. I updated Twitter, and I'll update you on this. You might be interested in this. I don't know. I rode a bike today. Lord Crashton is letting me know that Dan Reichert is a madman. Tell me something I don't know. I don't know the specifics of why Dan Reichert is a madman right now. I assume it is something to do with some sort of punishing thing he's doing, like playing 50 turns of a Mario. I feel like it might cause neck problems if you're staring down at a desk for 2 solid hours. Thank you, Lashbrook. I also think it probably wouldn't be good. So I had to raise my webcam. Normally the webcam is around here and tilted up a little bit. But I raised it up because I needed to be above my light. He's doing a stream that's like DK series, but a stream with crazy rules and such. Oh, okay. So the usual madness. All right, that's fine. I hope he's enjoying himself. I hope he has a good time with his silly nonsense and has fun doing it. Okay, so I rode a bike for a little bit today. Like, not a lot. I didn't go around. I mostly went around the cult. Like, My street that I'm on here ends at a cul-de-sac with a little grass in the middle, and I rode around that because once I got going, I felt pretty good about being on a bike. Apparently, it is riding a bike is just like riding a bike. So I did pretty good. I felt pretty okay with that. Uh, yeah, I will say. Kind of turning, I'm still like, "Ugh." I have not been on a bike in a lot of years. Yeah, Epic Open World, I will say that that is the same situation for me. I felt very weird. Uh, a lot of fart sound effects and a wheel. He'll probably play games at some point. Okay. One of his punishments is eating a pickle, which he claims he's never done before. So the thing is, Dan has definitely had a pickle. He's had pickles in something. He's had pickle that, he's had it. He might not have ever had just a pickle out of a jar. Maybe. But he's had pickle in things. He just doesn't know it because like, he, like he's eaten sandwiches that have pickles in it that he didn't open up. There's no way he hasn't had a pickle. He might not have pulled one out of a jar and just eaten it before. I mean, depending on the pickle, that's not a punishment at all. That rules. That's a good time. So, who knows? Uh, anyway, that's nonsense. I rode a bike, and it was weird, y'all. It was weird. I liked it. It's been a while. It's been a long time. It has been. I do not remember the last time I rode a bicycle that was not a stationary bike for exercise purposes. I mean, obviously, this is also for exercise purposes, but I mean to say that that I've ridden a bike at like a gym or the gym room at a hotel, probably more specifically. But it has been a while since I rode a bike like that. And I didn't go far. Like I said, I just went around because I'm still not thrilled with the idea of like turning, like making any sharp turns. It's probably been 20 years. Yeah, I have no idea the last time I was on a bike, but it was a while ago. It's my dad's bicycle. Pumped up the air, cleaned it up, ran some oil on the chains, lube, I should say, not oil. Lubed up the chains, just trying to get it like in a good spot. So I do think the last time I rode a bike, it had handlebar brakes. This one does not. And so I got to remember how that works. But I'm feeling okay about it. It was fine to do. I just want, it'll be good for exercise because I'm getting a little tired of walking. Just a little tired of walking. So instead, as I said, I live on a cul-de-sac. There are actually a lot of cul-de-sacs around here. There are a lot of side streets. So I'm looking forward to just kind of riding. And I mentioned this previously. Am I also thinking about maybe trying to bike my way to the nearest Pokestop, which is not convenient to walk to, and maybe I will build up my biking to be able to get there in a reasonable time. Yeah. Do I need to do that? Of course not. But that's never stopped me before. The need. So you see here, we've got our machine gun here, and it's got its bullets there. That has a spare that goes here on the side, which is very neat. And also on the side of our kit, we can put our axe, which is our last piece. Obviously, this is a high grade. Now, would I like this to be multiple pieces? Maybe have a clear blade or a different color blade and not just have it one piece? Of course, I would like this to be more than just this color. Is it? No. Would I like it to be? Yes, as I said. But that's not what that is, and so we'll just deal with it. But we got one last piece to pull out of here on our kit. I'm very excited to figure this part out. We'll do that soon. So the axe can go. Whoops, that popped off. So whatever. The axe can go here, for when you need it, which is fine. But that's not what we're gonna do. It's not what we're gonna do. Zoom in a little bit. No, I can't. That's right. I got to do that outside of it. Going 16:9 means I have to zoom in the Logitech software outside of this, which is fine. right, we're just going to put that aside. I'm not going to worry about that. All right, so what do we got to build here? Well, we're going to build ourselves a nice, easy thing. We're going to take this and shove that like that. That goes in here. And then this goes here. It's cool. But yeah, so I'm excited about biking. You know, like, it's been a while since I really did it for any length of period of time. A friend of mine from New York, his wife's family is retired to this area, and he's been down here. He is not directly right near me, but he is kind of close to where I'm at. And they bike, so we're going to hopefully be able to meet up and bike once I get a little more comfortable with the ride and be able to go to where he is, like, and feel comfortable doing that. I'm not comfortable doing that yet, but that is definitely a thought. That we thought, like, he's much more proficient. He's a dude that, like, he got a city bike and he carries a helmet. I never rode a city bike in New York. I just never had a helmet, never was comfortable, never was interested in doing it, but he did it all the time because he didn't live near a subway line, but he lived near, he lived near a city bike thing, so he was able to get a monthly pass and do that, which was good for him. But he's much more proficient biker than I am, so we're gonna, like, meet up and have a social distance bike ride and hang out, like, pick a beach and chill. I haven't been to the beach yet because people are not responsible. So I'm not going to go to a beach, but I might go with a friend. Anyway, look at this photo. This photo shows you with the cool purple with the blade and a different color. We don't get that. We don't get this. We don't get this cool color here. Read all about it. We don't get that. But that's okay. Biking in New York just seems insane and dangerous. Yeah, I mean, he's never had a problem. There are bike lanes in New York, Epic Open World. There aren't enough of them, and but they did add a bunch over the years, and that has made bike riding better in the city, but it's not great. I wouldn't call it awesome. All right, so where do I gotta put this? I'm gonna put this. That. Is there a thing that snaps? There is. I can do like this. Okay. That. All right, great. So here it is. We have now finished our Zaku 2 with its cool weapons on its shoulder, which I really like. See that there? They all sit there. That's very cool. But that's it. As I said, we were going to finish it up. We ran out of time on Thursday to finish this up. So I'm going to go and take a photo here before we move on to our Seltsam, which is the real meat and potatoes of tonight's stream. We just had to finish this up. Thank you to Heavy Duty, who I do not believe is in chat tonight, but Heavy Duty, thank you very much for purchasing this off my wish list. Speaking of wish lists, I'll put a wish list video up tomorrow, a mailbag video, I should say, because I got something from my Amazon wish list. A Lego set. So we were working on a Lego set when this kit, because we're just starting this tonight, when this kit is done, the next kit will be that Lego set from my wish list, unless something else comes from my wish list, in which case, my $10 patrons will vote. But yeah, this is the next thing to do. This was picked by my $10 patrons. So we're going to work on this. So this is based on... Okay, so Gundam Build Fighters, if you're not familiar with the series, what they do is they take a lot of classic designs and then they personalize them, because the idea is that it's kids, generally, making mobile suits, making Gunpla, customizing it, and then they fight in a virtual setting or whatever. And maybe it's changed. I'm not super familiar with it. I watched 3 episodes, and it didn't feel like that's something I wanted to keep watching, so I didn't. So this is basically... there's the Gundam Mach 3, and then somebody modified that in the series, and then this is a further modification of that. So its roots are the Mach 3. So much so that some of these pieces are labeled This is for fans of model kit stuff. This on here says Mach 3 right there. I don't think it's going to get pulled on camera. But the thing is, there's no such thing as a Mach 3 high grade. So these were printed for the Mach 3, but there's no Mach 3 high grade. Now, they even so much go so as to give you 2 of the armbands that you see there on the one hand with the shield, but this kit doesn't have 2 hands, 2 arms like that. So one of these is going to be an extra piece. Because eventually, the theory is, a Mach 3 high grade will come out. So this got printed, and then they'll reuse these sheets for that with other parts. Because there are some that are specifically labeled, like this is specifically labeled for the Seltsam. So that's a little bit of a cool thing there. There's a little bit that's just for this kit, and a little bit that is for perhaps a future kit, which is pretty neat. But the real neat part of it is that this is just a cool ass kit. This is a cool looking kit. I'm excited to build. And as I said, I'm not super knowledgeable about build fighters. I mean, I love build fighters because it gave me a Death Scythe with legs, with spider arms, I should say, the Love Phantom. There's been a quality kits. The Ultron that has that instead of dragons has different animals and the shoulders are animals. That fucking rules. Like, there's a lot of very unique kits in this series and weird, interesting takes on previous kits. Build fighters are so rad. So it's the thing where it's like beats. Like, to me, it's like I respect what it's doing. I just didn't enjoy. I love all the kits. We've built a lot of high grades. I have at least one more high grade in my build pile, my to build pile, my backlog that is from Build Fighters. Obviously, they're making a lot of them because it's a show that's on, right, or is currently airing now. You know, it was on hiatus. It's back from its hiatus. So, of course, they're making it. But also, some of the best high grades they've ever made have been in the last couple of years. I really, truly believe that Bandai is on such a renaissance right now of model kit design. And I think a lot of that is that it feels like these kits are like buildable and possible. And really creative and interesting. So even though I'm not necessarily a fan of the series, I'm a fan of what they're doing. And obviously, like, the Fennis is, you know, a wing Gundam, like a green Gundam wing, and it's just like, this is pretty much the Gundam wing, and I really love that. Like, there's just a lot of love put into the series, and I am certainly a fan of that. A lot of history. It is a love letter to Gundam. And I can very much respect that, obviously. I hope you're all doing well tonight. Not a lot's been happening with me, as you know. Trying to get settled. Late last night, like 3 a.m., I was asleep, which is kind of unusual for me, but I'm getting, trying to change up my sleeping pattern because I'm here with people that wake up at 6 or 7 in the morning, and I'm not going to do that unless I have to. But I still want to be up in an hour, so I'm getting up earlier than I normally do, and that means that I go to bed a little earlier. So 3 a.m. I get all these messages from somebody that I worked with in the past, and he of course, Facebook messages, which just stop. But he's just like, hey, I got work for you. And, of course, I get those messages at 10 a.m., and I replied saying, hey, sorry I couldn't reply. I wasn't awake when you sent this. Let me know. I'm certainly interested. Have not heard back from him. So we'll see if in a bunch of hours he gets back to me. Yeah, I mean, I sent my resume out. I updated it a couple times, sent some stuff out, sent some feelers out, trying to make something happen here. See what's up. Hopefully being able to do some work from the apartment and not have to go into a place, but do what I gotta do, figure things out. Uh, Try to save money up so that when I eventually move back to New York, I have, enough for a deposit on an apartment if I'm going back to figure things out. But we'll see. We'll see what's up. And then, yeah, I'm just kind of like figuring things out there. I filmed a thing today. My Pat Bear's Anime Club video for Monday. My $5 and $10 patrons will get it tomorrow because that's how I do things. So that was good to film. That worked out pretty well. Yeah, it was a nice, easy, relaxing day. As I said, biking was certainly part of it. That was part of the experience, a little bit, just a little bit of biking. Went out for a nice long walk. I will say, yesterday had, I would call it okay Chinese food. Takeout, felt okay about it. Parents were like, "Oh, we're gonna get Chinese," and I was like, "All right." And they were like, "Oh, it's definitely not as good as New York," and I'm like, "Sure," but I also didn't necessarily eat at a lot incredible Chinese food places. I ate some pretty okay Chinese food places, so I was like, "Sure, okay," and it was, whoops, pretty okay. Nothing to write home about. I felt fine with it. Got a General Tso's chicken. It was all right. General Tso's is like my level of spicy, where it's like not really at all, which is what I want. It's like fine. You get a little hint of spice. Just avoid that red pepper, that weird pepper thing. If that ends up in your order, and you just make sure you don't eat that, and you're going to be okay. And I was, and it was fine. These don't want to go in how I want them to, and I'm trying to figure this out. I'm not sure I've had better than just okay Chinese food. I've had some pretty incredible Chinese food in my time. That's some really good. And of course, when I say Chinese food, I am speaking of Chinese American for the American palate. I'm talking about, influenced by Panda Express and all that. My favorite Chinese food is Chinese American. It is not a thing that you will get on a Chinese menu, a place in China. Boneless barbecue spare ribs are just not a thing prepared even in the same way, but they still are great. I played Ghost of Tsushima all day. I get why people have issues with that game, but damn, is the world pretty, and I enjoy the samurai combat very much. Okay. Melik 924 is now following. Thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Bill Bear Workshop. We're working on the Seltsam. It's a cool Gundam for a villain. This is clearly a villainous character, as you can tell by it having an asymmetrical design and it having purple. Very much an evil thing. I mean, it's literally, its head is basically wearing a mask. It is a villainous character. Keep working on that here. All right, so we gotta get 4 and C1. So that'll be good. Great. Yeah, so I felt okay about that, having some Chinese food. Yeah, so it goes to Tsushima. It didn't appeal to me. It has never appealed to me. I mean, I like martial arts movies. I like, samurai shit. I like I like it when my anime characters carry a big sword or a small sword. I'm into it. Ninja stuff, cool. Samurai stuff, cool. But that game looked cool. But when I found out months ago that it wasn't designed in black and white, and then they added color, they started in color and added and then did a black and white mode, I was like, well, Kurosawa planned his shots for black and white. He planned the whole thing to be in black and white because you have to do that when you're shooting in black and white for a stylistic reason. So just turning on black and doesn't That didn't seem. I was like, oh, that's a shame. In college, the nearby Chinese food place was literally called OK Chinese. It was okay. I like that. Yeah. My Chinese place in New York was called Hey Jam, welcome, welcome. Happy to have you here. My Chinese place in New York was called East Met West. That's right. MET Met, not East Meet West or East Meets West. East Met West. It once met West. And it was indeed fine. That was a fine enough place. Ooh, we're building the backpack with its weird. We'll get to the talking about this jetpack. It's weird. Jetpack has an odd design to it, and we'll get to that in a moment. Once we get closer to, we have to build the jetpack, and then I'll point out that it's a little odd to me. 18. Cool. The game does not really work fully in black and white. There are missions that are like, find the location with the violet colored flowers. That's not good. That doesn't sound good if you're playing it in black and white. Yeah, that sounds bad. Wasn't expecting to see Linkin Park take down a video from the president's Twitter for using one of their songs. Should have pissed with DMZ. DMBZ, yeah. DBZ AMV, if they wanted to stay out. Yeah, I'm Lord Crushing It. I didn't see that story because there's always everything, and there's just so much that I don't plan. I don't expect to be able to see everything. But I do like that. Like, most musicians are just like, get the fuck out of here, and I appreciate that. Not all. There's some that aren't gonna say shit, but no. I'm glad the Linkin Park said it's my way or the highway to that. It's good. Alright, so we gotta line this up. Alright. Far in as it'll go. Welcome everybody that's hanging out tonight. If you're not currently a subscriber, maybe consider it, but you don't have to. You could also just become a follower. Hit the follow button. That way you know when I go live. I build bottle kits Monday, Thursday, and Saturday nights, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern. That's right, only 2 hours. Because if I build for more than 2 hours, I have found, then I start making very poor mistakes, like very simple, easy mistakes I'm suddenly making, and I feel very mad at myself for that, so I limit my streams for 2 hours. Chester was big on hating him before the election. R.I.P. Indeed, rest in peace. Yeah, I don't follow that band's shenanigans, so I didn't know. I probably, if you hadn't told me, I would probably hear about it because I do listen to a podcast about music made by comedians, and they often do music news. So I'm sure that would have made music news because they often talk a lot about, like, this band is mad at this thing and they're mad at Trump and that's cool. We unsurprisingly blah blah. Although they did also there's this whole thing about, like, the drummer of System of a Down is like pro-Trump, and the lead singer of System of a Down is like, God, what the fuck, dude? So that's been interesting. Oh, Lashbrook says doubles roll again. 33 months. Please, everybody, let's throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote in the chat. Thank Lashbrook for renewing their sub. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. I'm going to hit the applause button there. Let's throw some emotes in the chat. Thank you, Lashbrook, for that. Thank you for renewing your subscription. It means a lot. But also, thank you for 33 months. Look, here's the thing. Maybe the drummer just hasn't listened to the lyrics because he can't really hear them. I don't know. But apparently he is, and it's been a whole thing. But they're squashing it, the members of the band, and he was like, don't be mad about whatever. He has the right to his own opinion. And that feels weird. I don't know. Clark Crashton brings up a good point. It's like people not realizing what the machine, Rage Against the Machine, is raging against. They just hear that guitar riff. They hear that guitar riff, and they like that guitar riff. They like the guy, and they don't consider it rapping because they like it, so it's not rapping. And they just vibe and enjoy themselves, and they don't give it much thought because thoughts hurt. Because it is I forget who said this, but somebody who I said this, and it kind of resonated with me that people are like, don't bring politics into this. Often means they do have a good world. They have good guitar. Don't bring politics into this. Often is a derisive thing that people say when they're like, I want to still like this thing and not think about it. So please don't do this. Whereas a lot of times, other folks look at it, perhaps, and say, oh, I'm glad I know this about you. This sucks, but I'm glad I know this because I didn't know this before, so I'm glad I know it now. This is a bummer. And that often, it's not always the way, but it's often the way. And I think that's, it is a weird thing. But, at the end of the day, I would rather know than not know. Because the worst is the in-between, where some people know, and you don't know, and then you're, like, talking about how you like this thing, and you don't know that, like, saying that, people are like, oh. You like that, though? But this thing happened, and you're like, I didn't know about that thing. I'm sorry. I want to talk about these booster rockets. So we'll put the backpack on here, and then we'll talk about this. So here's the backpack. It goes on here. It's purple. That's great. So this bottom rocket is like, hit boosh, boosh, boosh. Here we go. What's up with these side rockets? Why do the rockets point? They don't point down. They point at like. Does it strafe? Does this thing strafe? Its rocket clusters are weird, is what I'm saying. It's just odd. It's just an odd thing. As an NBA fan, I am seeing that a lot right now. When play resumes, players have the option of having Black Lives Matter phrase on their jersey. Yeah, and then you're like, y'all gonna do that? No. Okay, cool. You gonna do this thing? You gonna say these things? Cool. All right. You're gonna complain loudly about, there's a lot of things to complain about, but you're gonna complain about that thing? Okay. All right. Yeah. It is a thing that we, can be very frustrating. A233. This is A2. 33. That doesn't look right. Huh. Did I find a missed number? I think this is the wrong number? What? That doesn't seem right at all. Is it A1? Is it supposed to be A130? I thought it was asking me for... Okay, so this is A133, and I was like, that is not the face piece. It's actually A123. I was reading it wrong. It's this piece here. I read it wrong. And I literally was like, did they make a typo in this? Because that would be wild. You'd think that would have heard about that if occasionally I look at reviews of some of these kits. Because like the only reviews I saw were the hand. We wish the hand was better. So here's two of the pieces of the hand. You can see the main part of the hand and then the other parts of the claw. You can't make it a fist because these are connected. It's hollow. The inside of this is hollow, and people wish that these parts weren't hollow. That's like the number one complaint I saw for this kit was people were like, "Oh, I wish that part wasn't hollow," and that's the only thing I've seen people bummed about. But whatever. I get that that's not ideal, but it doesn't really bother me too much. Okay, so we got to put in our first sticker. All our stickers are eye stickers here because this thing has a bunch of eyes for reasons. So this goes here. And then along this part is going to be the first eyes, which is 1. We're going to take our X-Acto knife. And there. So yeah, my agenda tomorrow is to go for a nice, decent bike ride. Really try things out. Gotta go in the afternoon. Oh! Well, hello? X-Dead Fox X. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining me. Always follow Gunpla. Indeed. We are working on the Gundam Seltsam. We just started today with this kit. Tonight, I should say. After finishing up a Zaku 2 build, which was our previous build here. And we're working on the face here. I'm going to apply a sticker and try not to screw that up. But yeah, welcome. Alright. Oh, tiny eyes here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Line it up right. This is a kit from 2019, which is a lot of the high grades. A lot of the kits last year were high grades from Build Fighters, which is fun. Little stickers. Good circulation. Hope you try. Yeah. Yeah, these stickers are small, but seem to be going on good. Yeah, I'm happy to work on a more modern kit. The Zaku 2 was from a few years ago, but was still pretty modern. But we did work on some old kits pretty recently. I mean, we worked on a kit from the year 2000. It had screws in it. Working on the, and then, yeah, the crossbone was also like I think it was a 2006 kit. But that EZ8 from the year 2000, I'd never built an EZ8 before, and it was a really fun build. I was really happy to do it. But it was such an old kit. And that did feel very weird. So it's kind of nice to work on some modern kits. I believe, to me, anything in the year 2017 plus so far anyway has been really good. Obviously, some of the old, not some of the old, some of the real grades of the past few years have been a little hit or miss. Some of the RE100s have been a little hit or miss, but for the most part, been very solid. Yeah, so my history is, Fox, is that I started building in the late 90s. And then I stopped for a very long time. And then about a couple of years ago, I got back into it. And I've been very pleased to get back into it and streaming it. So we've done some older kits. My heart loves certain Gundam shows. So I wanted to go back and build them. And, of course, some of those... if it's Wing, well, there's a 2012 re-release, right? So you can get your kit from the year, your late 90s Gundam Wing kit re-released in 2012. It's going to be similar, but still pretty, a little bit of a refresh, right? But if you want to build the 4 master grades from G Gundam, you're gonna get you have your tall geese, you're good, right? Yeah. If you want to get the 4 master grades from G Gundam because you like G Gundam, well, you're going to get those fun rubber feet, and you're going to get those screws that you need for the legs and you need for the shoulders and one in the waist, and it's just going to feel odd, but you're going to do it because you want to build those kits. And then, if you want to build stuff, yeah, there are kits, yeah, those awkward rubber kits. Yeah, the hands were always weird. I like the plastic a little bit more, especially for the Master Gundam, the Master Grade Master Gundam, to be specific. But yeah, the rubber soles were always kind of weird. They were doing a lot of things. They were trying a lot of stuff, and I applaud them for trying things in that era. But I'm glad that the wing kits didn't have rubber, because that would have been very weird. All right, so E113. Oh yeah, so this is like the face guard is actually like a mask it's wearing because it has eyes, and then we're going to put eyes on this face mask so that the eyes have eyes, and then there's one more eye. The crown also has an eye. This kit has lots of eyes. It's very straight. It's a weird little thing, but asymmetrical kits. I'm always a fan of it. There's a reason why I think I like the Shenlong more than the Altron in Gundam Wing, because it's just got that one arm instead of having like double arms, which I think is cool. Although I am a big fan of the Nautiku. The Endless Waltz version is... I'm always a big fan of the Endless Waltz version because it just looks so cool, that design. Yeah, I've seen a review, been meaning to make an order, but I want to work on my backlog before I go or anything. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, my backlog is pretty light right now because I build on stream. I do about 6 hours of building a week. Obviously, it's not the full 6 hours. We all know, shaved off a little time here and there, but it's a lot of the hours. Yeah, now that I'm like doing this all the time, I go through kits pretty fast. So my backlog's been kind of reduced. But then sometimes I'll buy a kit and like I just haven't gotten to it because people send me stuff and that jumps the queue, or pre-orders come in and that jumps the queue, or oh, thank you, I appreciate that. Or I get sometimes I get stuff like I put up a vote on my Patreon and then nobody wants this. So I have this one kit I've had since pretty early on last year that has just been always getting down to the bottom. Yeah, my setup, I would say my setup's pretty bare bones. I don't put a lot of flashy designs on here. We pretty early upgraded. When does the ramen kit come? Let me look that up. I actually have to look that up. I have to reply to that because I have not. October. That's coming out in October. But I have to get a confirmation about that. Yeah, that's October. So yeah, the ramen kit. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's October. I can't remember. Yeah, in the fall. Yeah. So yeah, I try to keep things a little, bare bones, like whatever. We switched to 16:9. I recently moved here to where I'm in this room I'm in now. I used to have a green screen, and I would be like in the center, like right here. I would be like at the bottom of the screen. But I didn't. When I moved, I didn't take my green screen stuff with me, which is for the best because I don't want to. That way, don't have to deal with it. So instead, I can just focus on the building, and then I don't have to worry about having lights and all that. I did get an overhead light pretty recently, which I'm pretty happy with. Okay, so we're going to try to get the sticker in here into the notch. And I might go over this later. But yeah. So it's going to go. Great. Alright, then we just got to put the other one there. Working on my setup. Not enough builders on Twitch. Yeah. I feel like I don't have many kits now, but the back half of the year, when all my P-Bandai pre-orders show up, I'll be swamped. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So I've got a bunch of kits, like, coming. So I've got the Death Scythe that's coming in September, and the Tall Geese 2 that's coming in September. So that's going to be great. I've got a Gohan, Teen Gohan Figure Rise kit coming, and then I've got the Ramen coming, and then the Ultron Gundam. I decided to go the Ultron, the new Ultron Gundam, the Endless Waltz version, instead of the Heavy Arms. I had to make the choice between the two. Didn't want to get both, but I did. I just got my second webcam. I thought about doing build streams too. Yeah, I mean, like, it's I enjoy it. You know, like, my big piece of advice is have things to talk about, because you can only talk about building for so much. Now, when you're playing a game, when I stream Hearthstone, which I will be this Wednesday at 9 p.m., I'm doing another Hearthstone stream because it's going to be fun. So when I do my next Hearthstone stream, I can talk about Hearthstone for like a lot of the stream. I can talk about strategies or what's happening in the game I'm playing at the moment, what I meant to do if I messed up. Indeed, you know, what my shaman deck is supposed to be doing compared to what I'm actually doing with it, that kind of thing. But when you're building, you could talk about it. Like right now in this first night, I can talk about this kit, right? How it's asymmetrical, how it's based on the Mach 3, how the Mach 3, there are sheets that are labeled Mach 3 high grade, which has never come out. So one would assume that they will make one, which is why they labeled those pieces that, you know, those sheets that. It'll be interesting to see. It's purple, yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they do in the future with that. But I can only talk about, I can say like, oh, it's purple. Check it out. I can only say that stuff so long before I have to talk about other things. Which is why in the second hour of every stream, because we're going to take our pause for the cause in a couple minutes, where I'll talk about ways you can support the stream if you want. After that, every stream I do when we build, I talk about anime that came out since the last stream. So this will be shows that came out on Friday and shows that came out today on Saturday, not including obviously One Piece, which comes out basically in a couple minutes. So I never could talk about One Piece during the stream because it comes out later during the stream. So I have to wait till Monday to talk about that, which is fine. I just consider that a Sunday show basically. But yeah, so finding that out, finding the thing of like, oh, well, I can talk about you know, what I'm watching. That's a thing I could talk about every week. It's up to YouTube because I can't afford nothing this late. Yeah, I understand. It's a tough time for people. I mean, like, I totally get it. Like, I'm currently living in South Carolina right now. Instead of living in New York, because I really love New York, but can't really afford to live there right now, especially if all of the industry stuff that I did doesn't exist right now. So I'm just paying a lot of rent to stay in an apartment there, and so made the move here, getting settled. You can't afford to live there. Yeah, right now just can't afford to live there. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, but I wasn't working. And if, you know, whatever, you know, I can stream. I'm streaming here. Yeah, is this a FiOS connection that I had there? Is the 100-100? No. Veiled Muffin, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that very much. You know, it's not the same. I can still stream, and I'm happy about that. You know, it's not the same internet that it was there. My uploads, my YouTube videos are now a little lower quality because my local recording, I'm saving at a smaller thing because I don't want to upload 4 or 6 gigs files. I want to upload 1 to 2 gig files because it just takes a while to do that. Okay, so we got to put on our fifth eye. Stream quality as good as I can tell. Well, I appreciate that, Epic World. Yeah, so my live stream quality, I'm feeling good about. I think my bit rate is solid. Obviously, I'm not playing like twitchy games where you would want me to be at 60 frames on the stream, where you would want the bells and whistles of a solid Ethernet, you know, cabled connection. I am, you know, wireless right now. That helps. That I am just a couple webcams. And any games that I do play look pretty good. But yeah, it is. All right, the fifth eye is now in place because it has eyes and then it has a mask, and then there's an eye on the antenna or crown, depending on what you want to call it. So that's on, and then we just got to put the one more sticker. All like I said. Hello, John Robert. Hey, buddy. Gundam building can only be done at 60 frames. Must be smooth Gundam. Oh, that's my favorite, y'all. When people put in brackets 60 FPS on YouTube for videos that do not need to be that, like sometimes anime clips will show up like 60 frames per second, and it just makes me laugh because I'm like, I don't know if you're serious or not. I don't know you to know, but like, I don't give a shit about that. John Robert, you want to talk about Castlevania? We are going to take a pause for the cause in a moment or two, but we can fit a little Castlevania talk. You want to talk about the Netflix series? You want to talk about games? What's up? What's up, John? What's going on? What you got to say? B123. 60 frames per second checkers. The anime. Yes, the Netflix series. Okay. Last season. Kind of meh. Kind of meh. You know what they say? The sexual tension is over when you have sex. I still think it's awesome. But I do think that this last season, maybe they could have taken a little more time, a couple more passes in the writer's room, something like that. Yes, but John Robert, what's up? I saw a fight from Brawling movie interpolated up to 60 frames and it was bad. Yeah, I'm sure. I think it's an incredible commentary, powerful commentary on modern Christianity. Oh, John Robert, I mean, I can really see that. I think that I think smart vampire fiction often should take a look at. Well, okay, so smart vampire fiction, I think, should certainly be looking at religion, and also should be looking at toxic masculinity, because it is rooted in a lot of, most likely vampires were just, swarthy, quote unquote, swarthy men that seduced women in the town. Were probably the first vampires. They were just dudes calling up ladies in the evening and then people getting mad about it. So I do think that that always should be examined. But yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I think that while it could have used another pass this last season, could have used a little bit work on some of the writing. I think the characterization was good, and I think the voice acting is always fun, and I think visually it's engaging. So I am a fan of it. I think Netflix does a very good job with its anime that aren't anime, because I think Castlevania is really great, and I think that She-Ra is fantastic. She-Ra certainly suffers a bit from the break in one of the seasons, because they broke a season in half, and then people were like, nothing happened this season. And in the second one, they were like, there's no building, it's just everything's happening. And it's like, that's because that's one long season. They just broke it up in weird numbers. It's okay. It's all right. But that's my mini She-Ra rant. I think She-Ra is still my buddy Beej, Brendan Derry over at Loading Ready Run, claimed that She-Ra was his favorite anime of this last season, which I can just say certainly like the little nods. Yeah, and I think Castlevania is like, you know what? Their whip animation is real fucking good. Like, the whip stuff is surprisingly really well done, because that is not the easiest thing to do in a show, like to animate. somewhat surprisingly. And I think that, like, yeah, I think the weapon stuff is really well done. Why is this not going in the way I need it to? Okay. So this goes in like this. And then this. There it is. Headpiece has got to go on. I'm curious what they would do with Devil May Cry. I wonder who we own story based on the games. Yeah, Epic World. I don't know if it would be based like on the last game or just an original story. I'm not sure what they're gonna do, but it'll be interesting. I think they're not animes have been for the most part pretty great. Um, and then there's a Dragon's Dogma. Dragon's Dogma. It's gonna have an animated show. I mean, sure. You know what? Sure. That seems like a property that could be something. Uh, I guess. All right. So we're gonna move on to our arm in a minute here, but we've got to take a pause for the cause, folks. Well, actually, what we'll do first is look ahead to make sure that we don't have to do anything special to attach this head early, because I do like doing that. No, we don't have to worry about that. We can just attach it. Great. We're just going to attach the head here, and then we're going to take our pause to the cause. So, if you're new to the stream, what does this mean? What is pause for the cause? I don't run ads during the stream. I usually run right at the top of the stream. At this point, what I'm just going to do is I'm going to talk to you for a couple minutes about ways you can support the channel if you want to. You are under no obligation to do any of that. I understand people's situation, or it's just not something you're interested in doing. But I'm going to talk about ways you can support the channel if you'd like. And again, don't worry about it. First and foremost, if you aren't following me already, please consider giving me a follow so you know when I stream. I build on Mondays and Thursdays and Saturdays from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you're currently a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote in the chat. Let the people know. You can use your Twitch Prime coin for that because you've linked your Amazon Prime with your Twitch. Or you can use Cash Money. Appreciate that. If you ever it's time to renew your subscription, make sure you hit that notification button so I know, so I can say thank you. And we can all say thanks. Again, I will be as quick as I can through these, try to get to all the important stuff, and then get back to building. So, if you're like, I would be interested in supporting Pat, but I can't do $5 a month through Twitch. I could do like $1 or $3. Well, I have a Patreon, and you can join my Patreon if you're so interested. If you're watching this after the fact, if you watching this on YouTube, you're watching on the VOD. If you're watching the VOD, it's in the chat. If you're watching this later on my YouTube channel in the archive, well, thank you for doing that. But also, just check the show description because I'm going to list it all there. I got a Patreon. My $10 patrons voted on this kit that I should build out of my backlog. They were like this one of the 3 that I had, which is really nice. Also, if you were just like, I don't know, I could give you like a couple bucks like every once in a while. Well, I have ways of doing that. I have a coffee set up and Streamlabs and a PayPal. And anything that I get through Patreon, through Twitch, through all of these things that I'm linking there, through my inevitable next payout from YouTube, which will probably be sometime in 2021, the way ads are rolling out, that all goes to buying kits and equipment. So if you want to support the channel that way, that is a way to do that. This kit I purchased, but I have a wish list if that's something that you'd be interested in. And again, I'm going to go through these as fast as I can, folks. We'll get back to building and start talking about some anime that came out yesterday and today. But right now, I got to talk about my Amazon wish list, which, hey, somebody bought me a Lego set. I'm going to be building that in the future. They bought me the Lego ice cream truck off my wish list, and they did not include their name, which is a shame. But yeah, I've got model kits up in here. Most of the time they have Amazon Prime shipping. Not all the time, but most of the time. So take a look if you want. We've got, I put in a few new things pretty recently because I think the Quanta just looks cool, so I put that in there. But yeah, high grades, master grades, Lego sets, papercraft stuff in here. all kinds of different things that I will build on stream, and it jumps the queue. Like I said, the next thing we're going to be building is something from my wish list, which is a cool little Lego set. Now, if you're like, Pat, I don't want to buy anything. I want to help you out, but I don't want to buy anything on Amazon. Well, you could buy a gift card to USA Gundam Store. 2 different people have done that. One who told me, so they went USA Gundam Store, bought a gift card, got a code, sent me that code, whisper me on Twitch, DM me on Twitter. My DMs are open, and they were like, "Hey, build this." Now, one person was like, "Hey, buy the ramen thing. This is for the ramen cup." And I was like, "Okay." And then another person was like, "Hey, get whatever you want." And I pre-ordered a Gohan figurized kit because I like the Dragon Ball kits, and Teen Gohan fucking rules. Great Saiyaman forever. What could have been? What could have been if Japan didn't insist on more Goku? The misadventures of Teen Gohan, High School Gohan. It was good times. It was great while it lasted. And then it became about Goku again. But I digress. I have a Discord. You can join my Discord. That's a great way to support the channel. Team Gohan. Hell yeah. Discord. That's a great way. I post photos of stuff I work on. People post photos of things they're doing, which is really nice. All right. I'm going to plug 2 video things. Pat Baer's Anime Club is a ongoing video series that I do on YouTube. I do it every other Monday. I have a new episode coming out this Monday. This is the previous one, which was my preview for this season. Turns out I like almost all of the shows in my preview, and one I'm a little sketchy on, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Yeah, and then my other video that I want to promote is Baering the List. Sorry, not Pat Baer. It's Baering the List. I ranked the WWE champions from the year 2009 to the year 2019. It's a long video, but it's about wrestling. I rank things. The next one is about... My next one, which will come out next Wednesday, is about sandwiches. So get ready for that. Coming up. All right, so we're going to talk about some anime. We're going to get back to building. That was that. Thank you for bearing with me. While I do that, I'm going to drink a little water. We're going to switch back to the Seltsam overlay, and we're going to work on our big, stretchy, our mechanical red arm, our big red arm on our weird kit. So here are the 4 shows that I watched last night and today. We will start with the only show I'm watching on Funimation because Fire Force Season 2 is on both Crunchyroll and Funimation, but I prefer Crunchyroll's video player to Funimation's, so if it's available, I watch it on Crunchyroll. If they're available on both, that's just my preference. Your mileage may vary. I know some people, the app on Funimation's app is better, but the in-browser viewing experience I find superior on the old Crunchyroll. So Uzaki-chan wants to hang out. Well, it's just a cute series. We found out our dude's day job. He is working. He's in college and he's working part-time at a little coffee shop. And the owner seems to be like a kind guy. And then Uzaki finds out. She just happens to find out, and that's not good. And they are bickering and doing their thing. And it turns out that our shop owner fucking loves this. He loves her kind of picking on him and him like getting mad about it and losing his cool. He loves the reason this dude opened a coffee shop was to eavesdrop on people's lives and pick up a little piece of their story, and he fucking loves this shit. And it's fun. It's mostly about that. If you haven't watched it, this is episode 2. So we've got this dude. He's got anime protagonist problems, and especially in a romantic comedy situation in which he mean mugs and doesn't mean to. He's got resting bastard face, and so he scares people off, and he's also a natural loner. But when he was in high school, he had a junior on his swim team, and she she shows up in the same college, and she is kind of mad that he's like a loner, but also teasing him, but also wants to hang out, and maybe feelings will develop between these two. One would assume they will. Um, there is a bad, not great moment, character-wise, where she is stuck in a bush. And, oh, what's up, Falk Nasty? Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. So Uzaki is stuck in a bush, and it's awkward. It's not the best. It's a very trite moment. I would call it a very trite moment in the show. So it's certainly not the best moment in the series so far. But overall, I think it's fun. We got a glimpse of his friend who is in the opening credits, and we get a glimpse, or her friend says a thing, and I think she is also going to be into like their relationship and them figuring out their relationship and kind of observing it. So that seems fun. So yeah, it's on Funimation. Uzaki-chan wants to hang out. I like the devilish thing where she's just like can't keep a straight face. Like she orders food or coffee from him, and he has to be a good be a good employee at the coffee house. And so his like smile and office work demeanor, she just laughs in his face, and he kicks her out of the store. It's pretty funny. I think overall it's a cute series, but you know what you're getting into because it is like some of the jokes are adult, and it's fine. It's not my favorite part of the show, but it is an alright part of it. Alright, so this is the shoulder here of our cool weird arm that we're building. So now we're going to keep working on this part here. And I will talk about the return of Food Wars. That's right, the beginning of July, episodes 1 and 2 of Food Wars, the fifth plate, the fifth season, re-aired because this was part of the spring season. But because of Corona and shutdowns of a lot of Japan, this went on hiatus. It is now back. And they re-aired, and then they aired episode 3, which had not aired before. And I mentioned this on Twitter, and I do stand by it. I'm so far still in season 2. Yeah. Here's the thing about Food Wars. Because this episode ended with literally a character accepted a challenge where if she loses, she has to marry a dude and give him control of the school that she runs. And I'm like, why would you say yes to that? You could just say no. Food Wars falls apart if any character says, you know what? I'm okay. I'm alright. I don't have to fight you. I'm good. Like, it just completely and utterly falls to pieces if any character ever does not rise to the challenge. That's a hell of a bet, right? There's an evil, unwritten rule. You have to accept every challenge. Yeah, I mean, the show doesn't work if you don't. Like, so Soma loses to this guy, because of course he does, because this teacher came to the school only to intimidate him. Blue, this big competition that hasn't happened in a long time, is back. And this competition was the one that Soma's father, he was supposed to compete in, but didn't because he had his breakdown about food and his place in the world. And that's when he quit school and went to go travel around. And we find out that this dude, this shitty teacher dude that is clearly a bad guy, is a bad guy, but he was also an orphan that Saiba, Soma's dad, took under his wing and traveled with him a bit, and then basically eventually parted ways with him because he wanted to settle down and open up his restaurant, which is where he met his wife and had Soma. And we get a little bit more about her, which is kind of nice. There's nice little peeks about her, which is kind of cool. But yeah, and this dude also, he's now the head of this evil or underworld organization that's also competing in blue for some reason. They're just adding so many stakes to this thing. There's a fun shot of Megumi eats a thing, and it hits her in such a way that she envisions herself as a gal. So she's all like tanned up and speaking tough. And that's kind of fun, but kind of not fun. I don't know. Look, I'm going to keep watching it because I do like the show, but it just seems like y'all didn't need to. These stakes are ridiculous. It could have just been, we don't need these stakes. What are we doing here? The fate of a character's life is in the hands of doing well at this competition. Complete and utter nonsense. Like, put your knife on the line. And it's like, no. No thanks. I'm good. It's like, oh, okay. Well, then, I'll what would happen if they were just like, no. I'm calling the police. Next season, if you don't win the challenge, the earth shall be destroyed. Yeah, this is the last season. Now, in my opinion, the fourth plate, the second course, the second half of the fourth season, basically wrapped up everything. Like, they did the good stuff. They won a bunch of good things. They taught the bad guy a lesson. Everybody kind of got what they wanted. Some people were happy on the way out. Some folks learned some stuff. It felt like a good end to the season, or the series. But no, this is apparently the last season of it. And I was like, okay. And I said this before. I wasn't particularly jazzed about this in a new season. But in the first episode, they let me know that, by the second episode, they let me know that Megumi, one of my favorite characters, is going to go on to compete. And I was like, well, if you're putting a character I really like in it, one of my favorite characters, okay. All right. I guess I'll watch it. So it's fine. Fire Force Season 2. Fire Force, as I said, is on Crunchyroll and is on Funimation. I am watching it on Crunchyroll because I prefer the player on Crunchyroll. Yeah. So, the last episode was pretty fucked. The first pillar showed up, who is some sort of eternal thing, and we don't really know much about her. We know that, basically we know there's the first pillar, which is the Adora Link, which is the thing in the Adora Burst, whatever, powers, does her thing, is some kind of thing. The second one is the mind-controlling evil person that caused a lot of the problems. When she was 5, she fucked up everything for our hero, Shinra. Shinra's younger brother, is the third pillar. He's the fourth pillar. And, well, guess what? There's a fifth pillar. She is... So she originally was... She called herself a fourth generation, which is not what she thinks that is. She basically had some powers but couldn't control flames, but she could sense where flames were going to show up. She now can manipulate flames because she's a pillar, because her link, because she got awakened, basically. Her powers awakened, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I think I put this piece on wrong, so I got to look at this here. Basically, we just a new character. Everybody wants her. The bad people want her. The good people, they probably want her to protect her. But she almost died in the Great Fire, but didn't, because flames don't really have an effect on her, or she can see them, so she didn't get burned. And now she's a flame junkie, or she's a danger junkie, I should say. Not a flame junkie. She's a danger junkie, which is an okay trait. It's fine. I don't know if it's cool or sucks shit that some of the major villains in this in Fire Force are female, whereas the heroic female characters are often uh, need to be rescued or have terrible weird or are unfulfilled characters that need a lot more stuff to do, or are villains until they fall in love with a dude multiple times. That's happened. What I'm saying is, Shonen isn't great about its ladies, and Fire Force is that. It's not great. It's not great. Um, yeah, it's just not great. It could be. I love all. I should say it. Let's say this. I love a lot about Fire Force. We're gonna separate this piece. I'm gonna figure this piece out as I'm talking about Fire Force. I like a lot about Fire Force. I think the fire animation looks fucking rad as hell. I think Shinra is a great hero. He's smart in some ways and very naive in others, but he cares so much and he's trying so hard to do the right thing and do right by his family and just be the best version of himself. And I think that rules. And he's in over his head and he's trying so goddamn hard. And I think that that's commendable and awesome. So I think he's great, and I think the show has some problems, some real problems with it. And I think, yeah, a big part of that is like, oh, it's a character. She's fun, except for the whole part where her character trait is that Turk gets in awkward sexual situations. Fun. And there's one character that, like, is strong as hell, but thinks people are making fun of her and calling her a gorilla, and so she like has violent outbursts, and you're like, what's happening here? What is going on with this? And then there's the sister, who she's just nice and naive and doesn't seem to have anything going on. She doesn't seem to have any sorts of character traits, and that's weird and a bummer. But yeah, I know I don't sound like I like the show, but I do. I just wish that it was, yeah, it did better. And then Lisa, don't get me started. Don't get me started on Lisa. That could have been Lisa could have been a whole cool thing, and she's not. Anyway, so we got this girl. She's going to become an antagonist. We know she's not going to, she's a bad girl, and she's going to act bad, and Shinra's going to have to fight her. And it'll be a whole thing. It's going to be a whole thing. Yeah. And what else? Oh, yeah. All right. Misfit of Demon King Academy. So this episode had a little bit of our main dude being overpowered and people just not respecting the fact that he's very overpowered. We learned a little bit more backstory stuff. About our guy before we talk about the sisters and that whole thing. So, 2,000 years ago, he sacrificed his life to be reborn to separate the different races of humans and demons and gods and whatever to end the war. He basically was like, okay, well, we're just going to move everybody around, but that's going to use up all my magic, so I'm going to take a break. Now, he had like 7 pillars, like, they're not pillars, but he had 7 like people that kind of kept things going, but apparently, his name has been changed, and certain facts about him have been changed. And so he runs into one of them, and he's like, hey, do you remember me? And he's like, I don't remember anything from that time. And he's like, well, that's weird. What do you mean? Like, so it basically, you don't know. Somebody changed that guy's memories, and it didn't work when he basically did a spell where he brought him like back in time to when those memories were intact to try to infuse them, and it didn't. I don't think it worked or whatever, but it was weird. It was a weird thing that happened in that part of the episode. But that's not the important part of this episode. Okay, so we'll look at our arm before we get into more of that. So here's our arm. It's a weird arm very strange from the other one, and then extends out to make it even bigger and can move around a lot, and it's got a lot of flexibility. And this hand can't become a fist, unfortunately, but these can move, which is cool. And then these are hollow, and people hate that, and I understand why they don't like that part. But yeah, so that's the shoulder. It is weird, or in the arm, I should say. So we'll put that on there. It's a weird. Look at that. That's weird. It's just an odd-looking thing that we're doing here. We can work on the other arm now. Which is cool. So the actual thing about this episode, I am very surprised. Generally, when you watch a show with the overpowered main character, he has episodes are generally on these kind of shows are about a character that is interested in him or that is fighting with him, and then he wins them over somehow, and they join up, and then we get like little flashes of stuff about them, but we don't like do anything with them. This show is different in that so far we've only had two characters, Misha and Sasha. We met Misha in episode 1, Sasha in episode 2. This is episode 3. They're sisters. One of them is has been called the doll, but we're going to find out, I guess, isn't. Sasha has these eyes that we found out later they're twin sisters. They're about to turn 15. Okay, I mean, he's 17, but also a month old because he's reincarnated from 2,000 years ago. It's complicated. Whatever. We're going to, I guess, decide to pretend that we don't remember that she's a 15-year-old character in this school. Okay, great. We're just going to forget that because I guess, I don't know. So we, all right, so we need C14 and then B12. Okay, we'll do that. Let's see. So, they're going to go on this thing. They're adventuring in this castle. It's his castle. It's a dungeon. So they get these weapons. We learn more about these characters. They've made up. They're at peace. She's, for some reason, turns on him. She's like, I break our pact, which she shouldn't be able to do. And he's like, huh, that's weird. You shouldn't be able to do that. She stabs her sister, but it's easily something that he can overcome. She's playing a role. We don't know why. We'll find out next week, I guess, why she is doing this. My assumption is that that this spell that created Misha existed only for her to grow up with, to have someone to grow up with, or maybe someone that couldn't die, so her demonic powers that she couldn't control, she had someone to take it out on, like that's why her parents created her. I don't know. But it seems like that she is going to have some sort of time where that ends, and it might be soon, but because she is an artificially created person that cares about Sasha, she doesn't care, which is a bummer. And it's a thing where you're like, hey, maybe you should ask your incredibly overpowered friend here if he can, like, help you instead of doing this thing on your own. But whatever. She's going to figure this stuff out, I guess, and we'll find out in the next episode if that works out and what happens. I don't know. But I assume he can just use his magic to figure that shit out. There was a cool little part in the episode where he was like, oh, yeah, she was like, if you come close to her, she'll die. And he's like, yeah, no, I already fixed her wound. That's an illusion. She's already fine. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. We'll see what happens. I don't know. But like I said, it is, it's a series about an overpowered main character figuring his thing, doing his thing. It's still weird that people don't immediately think that he is fucking incredible because he's proved that he's great and has command of all these incredible magics, and people are still like, oh, look at that misfit. Oh, I don't know. And you're like, what are you talking about? This dude rules. And then it was interesting to focus on the other characters, the supporting characters. I found that interesting. Seems to be a lot about Sasha and Misha's like deal. Necron. That's kind of cool. I am pleasantly surprised. And that's it for the anime I'm watching. As I said, tomorrow, like I'll say this: my Monday stuff is light. This is my light day, is because I get One Piece, God of High School, which comes out on Monday. One Piece comes out late tonight, but I'll watch it tomorrow probably. And then I don't think I'm going to keep watching Ninja Collection, but I definitely want to give it another episode. It's only like 4-minute episodes. It's based on the that anime Yomisame. Ooh, I forget the name of it, but Ghost Stories. It's basically an offshoot of that, but it's a very weird art style that I don't necessarily think is great, but it is weird. Dirty, yes, you came in at the end of anime talk. I apologize, Dirty. I'll give you the wrap up. Uzaki-chan, very fun. Liked it. Love the old man that works at the coffee shop character. I think that's a great addition to the cast. Didn't love the I'm stuck in a bush. That felt like unnecessary weirdness for that part. Food Wars. Why don't they just say no to these challenges? Come on. Fire Force. That girl's definitely going to be evil and definitely side with the bad people. The new fifth pillar. That's a bummer. But I'm sure that my timeline is going to be, next couple weeks, is going to be full of fan art of her because she's a little thick. I didn't actually say that the first time, but that's what I'm thinking of. And Misfit Demon King Academy. Really surprised how much time we're spending on the sisters. Pleasantly surprised, I will say. But usually you don't get a lot of these support characters in the show. I also thought the design of the dude that he tried to mentally bring back through time to refresh his memories, I thought that dude's character design was cool looking. But yeah. Would have liked if this episode featured the parents, because I really like the Demon King's parents. But, they can't be in every episode. Too much of a good thing and all that. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to keep watching Ninja Collection, but also, doesn't look like this season I'm going to get more things coming out on Sunday or Monday. Like, I have one Saturday and one Monday. So I'll probably just pick some other stuff up. Because even when, by the end of this month, I will also get Diary of Our Days at Breakwater coming back. Because that show had 4 episodes. It restarted at the beginning of this month. So by the end of this month, new episode of that. Because I think they got 3 or 4 episodes in. I can't remember if it was 4. It might have just been 3. But that's coming back. I actually, you know what? I'm going to rewatch those episodes and prep for the end of the month before we get there. Because that show is really fun. And I think I'll just probably watch those again. So maybe I'll watch those again for Monday. Now that I know where it goes, I probably like the first episode. So how do people feel about Attack on Titan now? I have not watched it, but seem to remember people saying later on has some problematic things. So Epic Open World, the creator of Attack on Titan fucking sucks. And he sucks. And he has bullshit, shitty, dangerous, garbage opinions. So a lot of people are like, I'm not cool with this. Now, the anime has not gotten to the part where the manga is at, where our main dude makes a choice that a lot of people do not like. Now, for me, Attack on Titan can never be what I want it to be, because the show it always was going to be is not the show I wanted. So I have not liked Attack on Titan since about halfway through the first season, because I like the idea of the last bastion of humanity scrapping together to take on this unsurmountable force. I understand why some people, when the reveal that, hey, some people can become Titans, why some people were like, this is my shit. I am now even more invested in that. I'm not as invested as that part of it. And that is what the show is about. and the larger world things and the elements that are revealed about what the rest of the world thinks and what happened and all those things are interesting to a certain extent. But the show is about a few people who could turn into Titans, and people like being psyched about that or scared about that or trying to take advantage of that. And the very core element of that is not something that I'm super into. So it means that I am not super engaged with that anime the way other people are. And as I always say, that is okay. People can like what they like. They don't have to like what I like. I don't know, Dirty, if that was Polygon that said that Decadence's Attack on Titan means mortal engines. I mean, apparently, also that's not. Decadence is fucking weird. I mean, here's the thing. This is the great thing about original animation. This is not based on a manga. It's not based on anything. So nobody knows what the fuck the show is about. So when the second episode came out this week and was so weird, because you're like, oh, that's what those weird things were at the first thing? Wait, that's what this dude is? Wait, that's why he was doing what he was doing? Wait, that's who all those people are? Wait, what's going on? This isn't the whole ship? That's the fucking, like, bottom of the ship? That's the tanker of the ship? What the fuck? Like, basically the second episode was just like, hey, you know, we like showed you a bunch of shit. Well, there's a lot of other shit going on too. So we can get into that now if you want. And you're like, oh, okay. So that's been really weird. Because there's just so much. Decadence is just like a fucking weird show. I'm into it. Where it's going. I have. Beat says, I have a real strong dislike of Attack on Titan. Because it feels like it made up a ton of stuff just to be more convoluted and deep. I was really hyped for Season 1, but it's gone too far from now for me. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, Beats. Like I said, it is not up to people that make a thing to make the thing the way I want them to make the thing, and only the way I want them to make the thing because I put it in my head that that was the way I wanted to watch the show. I respect that. I get that. I respect that. But at the same time, it's not what I want. Yeah, in the same way that, oh man, while I ended up very, very much enjoying, Dr. Stone. Turns out I like Dr. Stone a lot. But I was initially pretty bummed when what I thought Dr. Stone was going to be ended up not being that. Because what I thought, what it seemed like from the first couple episodes of Dr. Stone, what that show was going to be was the last three people on Earth, one of whom is a brilliant scientist, one of whom is a very nice lady, intuitive, nice lady, and then one is a strong goofball who's dedicated and nice, and the three of them are going to rebuild society and figure shit out. That's what I thought the show was going to be, and it turns out to be some sort of war and the final civilization of people, and the two characters that we got introduced to are not in the first season, really, because they're doing other things, so we can focus on all these actual new characters, and then they introduced me to one of the Suka, one of the best characters in the world, the great detective. She's the fucking best. So like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm doing all right with what they ended up doing, but it was that thing where I was like, oh, you want to do a different thing than I want you to do. Okay. But then it turns out I like what they were doing. Now, I don't know if I'll continue. I don't know if Season 2, the fight, is going to be like everything I want it to be. But I'm pretty interested in where they go with it. Lord Crashy says the giant nude people creep me out too much to ever start watching. Yeah, Attack on Titan. Yeah, you got to get over the nude dudes. It's weird. The big monsters are a weird thing to be like used to. That's a weird thing to say. All right. We have completed the upper half of this kit. We've got our regular Mach 3 arm. We've got our weird Seltsam arm, our weird extendo arm. We got all our mask on our thing, our 5 eyes. Got a bunch of stuff going on here. This regular arm feels loose as hell. This might require a little blue tack. If I was going to pose this with weapons, I would probably use some blue tack, because that actually, I will say, this arm, the non-giant arm feels way looser than the giant arm, which seems weird, but whatever. Especially with no genitals. Yeah, Lord Gretch said the Titans they're a hard thing to look at. I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm going to fully agree with you. They're not great to look at. They're a whole thing. It's a whole thing. You just got to be like, okay, I guess this is what's happening right now. All right, so we got our top half here done. We are going to move on to the legs. Put that there. There we go. Just put that there. We're going to move on to our legs and see what we want to do there. And, hey, look, the legs are symmetrical. Yeah, I mean, Epic Overworld, you're not wrong that... Because I don't know if they had clothes, if they had, like... I'm going to cough, sorry. If they had, like, caveman clothes, if that would be, like, funny or just look dumb. I wonder if that was ever a thought. I don't know. But I will say that, yeah, it's probably better they don't have genitals because they're giant nonsense things with big, terrible grins and faces. They're just nightmare people. But yeah. Alright, sorry, I'm yawning. I apologize for that. I did exercise twice today, so, try to get things out there, try to move things around, smooth down a little bit, exposed to just incredibly good food here, which I am not complaining about, but it is the reality. How's the build going? Well, it's going good. Thanks for stopping by. We are approaching the end of the stream, but we got a few more minutes left in there. But yeah, we started this. We finished up a Zaku 2 at the beginning of the stream, and now we're working on the Seltsam, which has a very strange arm and a weird color. But it's got purple in it, so you know that this character is a bad character. This character's here to do bad things. Also, that the pilot is a masked character, and we talked about that. If it's a Gundam show and you are wearing a mask covering your face, then you are a villain. But yeah, it's going pretty good. Yeah, we were just talking about some anime stuff, I don't know what that means. Don't know what that means, but okay. Yeah, so we're getting some building done, so that's been good. And let's see. And then let's see. What else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah. Somebody asked me about are you watching, the stuff that came back, or are you checking out any of the ongoing? And I will say, I have not started up Boruto again. I caught up in Boruto because when everything went off, it was a good time to get caught up on anime. So I caught up on a bunch of anime, including that. But I don't really have the desire to keep going with it. I might go back to it, but right now I'm not, feeling it. Like where it left off. Got timed out on Dan's stream for calling out the mods on promoting a gross person that's been alleged to do some bad stuff. So I'm not a fan of that whole thing right now. That's a bummer, Lord Crashington. And you would hope that the mods would be fucking cool. So that's a bummer, Lord Crashington. Sorry to hear that. You would hope that they wouldn't necessarily be promoting a gross person, and that also that you wouldn't get a timeout for calling out people for not doing cool shit. So I'm sorry to hear that. That is a bummer. But the thing that I always say is mods are volunteers, and sometimes they know what the deal is and they are on the same wavelength, and sometimes they are just people who are in the community and have been around for a while, and hopefully they understand what's going on. I was just in a stream. I'm not going to say who it was, but I basically tuned into the stream, and she was like talking to one of her mods during the stream and upset with the way that they were handling the situation. And I was like, oh, okay. I just came in here. What's up? It happens. They don't always speak for the person. But yeah, at the same time, you hope that they would be cool. And I'm sorry about that, Lord Grashington. I have no control over mods for other channels. I don't have mods. As we say, I have Nightbot. Nightbot is my mod. Nightbot does a good job also because I read everything. Yeah. I mean, it is their place to make judgments. They DM me asking me not to bring it up and gave them the spiel. Like, I mean, if Dan's chat rules are we don't talk about unpleasant things, if that is a rule that he has, then bringing that stuff up is a choice that you make knowing that's going to come up. I don't know what Dan's chat rules are. I don't know what his chat is. I know that there are some chats out there, they do not want to talk about COVID in any way, shape, or form. They don't want to talk about that. So you can't. Even if it's just saying, I'm sad about it. They don't want to hear it. Rules are those are things I don't know. So if their thing is that they don't want people in chat to talk about accusations about people's ongoing misdeeds or whatnot, then if that's a thing that he set up, he's like, we're not going to talk about rumors or speculation or accusations or fucking signed documents to support these things. We're not going to talk about those things. I mean, it's his chat, so I think that would suck. As we say here on the Build Bear Workshop, we are not escapism, but we are entertainment. So we can talk about those things, and we should talk about those things in here. That is my rule. My general rules are is that I would like people to be respectful of one another. We don't want to be assholes. We don't want to talk down to one another. We don't want to be unnecessarily cruel to one another. Certainly, there's no place in this community for that. But I'm not gonna say you can't talk about stuff that's going on, or if you're disappointed with someone or anything like that. I don't think he has chat rules because he's Dan. Well, Lord Crashton, that is a thing that I would say not now, but if you see him on Twitter in a couple of days, he's tweeting, just say, hey, do you have what are your mod rules? What are mods looking for? Are they saying that people can't talk about certain things in chat? Is that their decision? Is that your decision? Because he should have chat rules. If he has mods and they're enforcing certain things, like saying, "Hey, you can't talk about this stuff," then it is it is a thing that he should be clear about. And I know he's Dan, and that's not necessarily a thing that he's going to think about. But these are things that one has to consider. Yeah, I mean that's the real thing, right? Like, if I made somebody someone's, and maybe someday I'll be big enough that I will need y'all's help, and I will ask for people to become mods, and I will reach out to certain people that are here. Um, but I will have chat rules in that respect, and I will have they time out people for disagreeing on movies he loves. Yeah, well then, so that's a shitty chat. That Lord Crashington, I this isn't like fun advice, but my advice would be that feels like a chat where you don't chat. You just enjoy Dan's videos and Dan being Dan, and Dan do if you like that stuff, then you like that stuff. But if you're gonna time people out because they don't love Commando, like I can not like Commando, and I don't need a timeout if I'm like, Rambo 2 sucks. I don't need a timeout for that. That feels like, that feels like an undefined role and a chat that is not looking out for anyone's best interest. They're just doing their thing, and that's a bummer. And one, I don't want to speak for him, but maybe Dan is like, oh, if I have mods, then I don't have to worry about this stuff because they're mods. Which, you still have to worry about your mods. I've also been quick to pick some people. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, Dan quickly found, started streaming, and of course he found himself a large audience, and of course he needs that. Because he don't want to worry about that stuff. But that is, I mean, honestly, it's just good to know. That damn thing to do. I have mods. I don't have to worry about it. Yeah. And then it's like, well, yeah, because like, then that he doesn't have to worry about what's going on or saying anything or anything like that. And he can pick and choose when he wants to look at it. Yeah, Lord Crescent, it's like, I don't know. I can't tell you. I haven't watched a lot of Dan's streams, but like I am often a lurker when it comes to chat, but it's generally my opinion that, like your chat, should be a welcoming place and people should be cool, and it should be like an oasis for people to hang out. And basically, it's up to you. Like I said, there are no COVID talk places. There were places, that were streaming Hearthstone that said, this streamer has made an opinion, or has made a video about their opinion on, when there were the protest stuff and the censoring and firing of staff for speaking their opinion about. So that there were streamers who stream Hearthstone that were like, he's already made a statement. You can read that here. Please do not ask questions about this at this time. You will get a timeout. And it's like, yeah, that is defined. I'm saying this person does not want to do this. This person does that. There's a person that like, there is a person I know who says that like, hey, you will be given a timeout if you ask me about my ex, because that is a sensitive subject. Please do not ask that. And so you can't do that, because they do not want to talk about that. And I think that is reasonable and fine. Yeah. Epic Open World. Kate Stark has a fantastic. Now, Kate's mods are they're sometimes a little aggressive, but they mean well. I would say that they are maybe a little bit on the aggressive side, because also her chat is very protective of her in general. The regulars are very protective of her, so that I think bleeds in sometimes to her mods. But her community is really good because it enforces that. So when she gets peaks and when she's on the front page for something or whatever, her mods go into overdrive to make sure that people are cool, and I respect that. Even if sometimes I feel like they're a little bit much. But yeah, I think that like chat rules are an important thing, and making sure that your mods are on the same page with you is important. Anyway, speaking of other streamers, we're going to go raid another streamer, because that's what we do here at the end of the stream. So we're going to pause our build of the Seltsam, and we will return to that in a future stream. Thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight. As I said, we are going to go and raid another streamer. I'm going to figure out who that's going to be in just a second. It won't be Dan, because that doesn't sound like a thing that I want to deal with. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. Oh, we're going to go hang out with Joe Kim. Joe Kim's got a great chat. He's playing Valorant, and that'll be fun. Joe Kim rules. We've definitely raided Joe Kim a couple times recently, but he plays late, and so I want to do that. Also, shout out to Nina Friedman, Hentai PhD. Nina rules, but Nina is playing Final Fantasy X or X-2, and I don't want to go raid Final Fantasy X or X-2, but I think Nina is great. But I just don't want to raid that. So we're going to go give Joe Kim a raid. Joe Kim rules, so we'll just let that play, and then we'll go see what's going on there. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. We finished up one kit. We got pretty far with another. We'll keep working again on Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern. So please consider checking that out if you'd like. Thanks for being here. Feel free to come along on the raid. She was playing Deadly Premonition 2 the other day and put it on hold because it's potential transphobic stuff. Yeah! Hopefully, who knows when that's going to be patched out, but yeah, there's some shit in there that's not great, and I don't know what the diverse group of people is going to be looking at that. I'd just say, hey, y'all, that game runs like ass, and maybe you don't need it. Maybe you got other games to play on your Switch. I don't know. That's just me. But anyway, I'm going to go. Bye-bye, everybody. See you later. Let's go on a raid.